Hey friends, welcome to VegStroller. I'm Nishant and we are covering our Europe planning trip. In previous episode, which is episode 3, we gave you some smart tips on how to book your flight tickets. If you missed watching that particular video, click on the I button at the top or the link in the description. Today's video will focus on accommodation booking and this is episode 4 of our Europe planning series. If you are new to our channel, please remember to click on the subscribe button, and if you like and enjoy today's video or if you find it useful, please remember to share with your friends. Let's find out what are the few important things which you should remember while booking your hotels for the Europe trip. So first thing first, when you're planning your Europe itinerary, you know what cities you want to travel, and in that case, it's better to go and use some trip itinerary planners for creating your trip itinerary. So if you go to Google, you will find trip itinerary planners like wanderlog.com or triptile.com. There, enter your dates, enter the cities you want to travel, and it will help you create a perfect itinerary. Which city should you travel first, from there where to go, how much time will it take to travel, what should be the mode of transport, and everything will be given. That will help you figure out which city to cover first, which city to go next, what is the minimum travel time which can be taken up, what's the maximum travel time which can be taken up, what are the travel options, and accordingly you can book your accommodation. How do you book your accommodation for Europe? There are two important sites which you have to use for all your Europe based travel accommodation. Number 1, Airbnb. Number 2, booking.com. Make My Trip, Clear Trip, Yatra, etc. They'll have hotels, but the number of hotels or the number of options available is not big on them. So refer to them, but I'll not advise booking through them unless you get a really good deal or a really good hotel. You will get maximum options on booking.com or Airbnb. If you want to stay in private houses, maybe with owners, without owners, anything, go for Airbnb. If you want to stay in hotels or if you want to stay in apartments, studio apartments or anything else, use booking.com. You'll get lots and lots of options and they are cheap and convenient. Since you are doing a Europe trip which is normally 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you should have few important things in the place which you book. Number 1, kitchen. Since we are doing a self tour without any group package or a tour operator, we have to plan our own meals and everything. And it's always a good idea to have kitchen in your accommodation. So both on Airbnb and booking.com, select the filter related to kitchen. In kitchen, ensure that the stove, utensils, everything is available. Number 2, ensure that dishwashing is available. So you do not want to spend the time there in Europe doing all the dishwashing on your own. Instead, it's easier to put everything in a dishwasher and let the dishes wash on their own. So check that out. Number 3, washing machine. Since you are on a 2-week trip, you will need a washing machine to wash your laundry. And wherever you're staying, if the washing machine is included as part of the accommodation, then it's good for you because you will be saving on the laundry cost. Otherwise, you might have to shell out extra money on it. Remember to inquire whether there is a lift facility available in the property or not. Many accommodation facilities in Europe are built on old properties which did not have lift. So it will be very difficult for you to carry all your heavy suitcases and climb 3 floors, 4 floors. And in Europe, you will not even get any valet or chauffeurs to pick up your luggage and keep it in the room. You have to do it everything on your own. So when you're booking an accommodation, just ensure that the lift is available in the property. If the lift is not available, try to prefer a ground floor or a first floor room, unless you are okay to pick up your luggage and then carry it up the stairs and down the stairs every time. The next thing is related to parking. In Europe, parking is very costly. And if you're planning to use self-drive option like I'm planning, then you better find out whether the premises has a free parking available or not. If the free parking is available, go and book that particular property. But if the free parking is not available, then find out what is the alternative. Do the property have paid parking facility available, or is there nearby parking facility where you can park the vehicle safely by paying some amount or not? It should be walkable distance from the property where you're staying, and it should be safe. So you have to inquire on all those things. Apart from that, on Airbnb and booking.com, if you are looking for apartments with kitchen, you also have to inquire what is the nearby availability of ecosystem. Do you have grocery shops available nearby? Do you have vegetable shops available nearby? Do you have bakeries available nearby? Can you buy milk and other important stuff? Do you have Indian stores available nearby? Do you have Indian restaurant available nearby? How far is the metro from that particular property? How far is the nearest bus station or the train station from that particular facility? Remember that in Europe, people are used to walking a lot, but in India, people do not walk a lot. In India, what happens is, even if a person has to go out to a kirana store, he'll take his bike or a cycle. They are not at all used to walking. Even if it is 300 meters or half a kilometer, they'll take out their bike or car. But in Europe, people are used to walking. They walk even 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers without hesitation. So it might happen that when you're conversing with the owners in Europe about the property, they will say it's walkable distance. It's walkable for them, but it's not walkable for you. So always inquire how far in kilometers or miles is the nearest train station, bus station, metro station, grocery store, kirana store, grocery store, restaurant, vegetable shop, fruit shop, where you can buy all these basic stuff. Try to have something which is maybe less than half a kilometer. Apart from this, what you have to also remember is that many cities in Europe collect their own property taxes when you stay in an accommodation. So get that clear from your property owner, or find that out while booking your accommodation. So if you do the booking via booking.com, it will clearly show this is the amount which will be charged on your credit card, and this is the amount related to property tax or municipal corporation tax or user development fees or tourist tax or anything which you have to pay at the time of check-in. So remember that you have to find this particular amount, and you have to carry this amount, or you have to have a separate budget for this particular amount, so that you go and you are able to pay. Otherwise, you will face lots of problem later on. And normally, if you're staying in a private property, maybe via Airbnb or in a private apartment, then these are owned by individuals who might not have the credit card machine or the debit card machine. They will ask you to pay cash on these. So you'll have to accordingly plan your travel and your money, so that you carry enough of euros in cash to be able to pay them. Also remember to find out from the owner how safe is the locality. Tell them that you're traveling from India and you're traveling with kids, or you're traveling with your spouse or your parents or whatever, and ask them if the area is safe for kids, if the area is safe for ladies, is the area safe to walk about alone in the night, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., till what time are the buses and the public transport options available. Find out all these things, because every country, every city has some areas which is not good to go in late night. So you should know where you're booking your property, and accordingly you should plan your itinerary to be safe. You should also remember to factor in the time taken to travel between places or between cities when you are booking your accommodation. So for example, I'm going to Paris, and in Paris I'll be visiting various places like Louvre Museum, Eiffel Tower, Disney and other things. So I have two options. One is I stay in the heart of the city, from where all these tourist options are close by. That's one option, but in that case I'll have to pay more money because the stay will be costly. The second option is I stay a bit far and take metro. Since I'll anyways be availing metro for my day-to-day travel in Paris, I have chosen the second option. And I have also factored in how far will my stay be from each of these tourist attractions. So accordingly, I will plan my itinerary. So for example, when you're reaching Paris, you will be tired because you would have been traveling for maybe 16, 20, 24 hours. All you will like is to go to your hotel and sleep for the day. So try to find out how far is the hotel from airport. Try to choose an option which is maybe 30 minutes to maximum 1 hour away, and which you can reach either directly by a train or a taxi or something, and direct connection is available. Similarly, in Switzerland, I want to visit Lucerne, I want to visit Interlaken, I want to visit Zurich. So, staying in these three places on a 3 to 4 day trip of Switzerland is not recommended, because then I'll end up just going to one place, unpacking, again packing the next day, and then checking out. I do not want to do that. So, what I've done is, instead of staying at 3 4 places, I've chosen one location which is Central Point, and I've booked the accommodation for 3 or 4 days there. In that ways, I'll be at Center Point and I'll be able to travel equal distance to Switzerland or Interlaken, and I'll be able to cover all my places accordingly. So you should try to remember that while deciding which area of a particular city you have to book your accommodation in. One more thing which you have to remember is that when you are traveling between countries, there are options available to travel in night and in day. If possible, if the distance between two countries is very big, try to take a night train. That ways you will be able to save on your accommodation cost. Since you anyways have to pay for your travel cost in a train, you can take the night train, you can go sleeping comfortably and check in into the hotel the next day. Most of the hotels and properties in Europe have a check-in time of 2 p.m. or later in the afternoon. If you reach early in the morning or 10 a.m., 11 a.m., you will not get a room. You will have to find out whether you can leave your luggage in the property and then spend some time somewhere else and come back, or you cannot even leave your luggage. So try to choose an accommodation where you can at least put your luggage for some time if the room is not available or if you are reaching early. Remember that in Europe, a 3-star hotel is good enough, is as equivalent as a 4-star in India. So you can also look for 3-star options if you are going on a budget travel. If you are going for family travel, or if your budget is good, then maybe you can look for a 4-star or a 5-star. If you are on a shoestring budget, you can look for hostels, especially if you're a couple or traveling as a solo person. Hostels are really good, and you will not only get to meet lots of people, but you will also save on expenses, as well as the many of the good hostels have their own tour packages wherein they take you as a group to some night out places or some key places in the city, so you can have walking tours there. So remember all these and then select your accommodation places in Europe. If you're planning to stay in a hotel, then you again have two options, whether to book the property or the room with breakfast or without breakfast. There are pros and cons for both, but if you are an Indian vegetarian who does not even eat egg or non-veg, then I'll recommend that you prefer a room without breakfast. The reason I say that is because in Europe breakfast, you will mostly find only bread options or fruits for Indian vegetarian, and even bread sometimes have egg or some other things which are non-vegetarian for us. So it will be very difficult for you to survive only on fruits, and paying extra money to do that is not at all advisable. Better option than that is to buy fruits from outside and cut it in the room and eat it. So go for a room without any breakfast if you are pure vegetarian. But if you can eat egg, or if you are used to eating non-veg food, then I think going with a breakfast option is always the best suitable thing. It's because you can start your day on a full stomach and you will be energetic throughout the day. So it all depends on your food preferences. And the last option while booking your accommodation is always choose a property or room which is refundable. This is because your visa is still not done, and for some reason if your visa is not approved or if you're not able to travel, then you will lose out on entire money. So choose a refundable room. So that's it guys. I hope you find these tips useful for booking your accommodation in Europe. Please let me know if you have any questions by putting them in the comment section. I'll try to answer as much as possible. And in the next video, we'll focus on the visa part. Yes, all the preparation before the visa have been completed, and now it's time to get started with the visa. And I'll tell you everything you should know about planning and applying for Shenzhen visa. I'll also tell you step by step on how you have to fill the application form. So do remember to subscribe the channel and click on that bell to get notification when the video is published. Until next time, this is Nishant signing off. Bye, take care, tada.